Hi everyone. Thank you for being here. And my name is Frankie TAM. I represent FifthWisdom Technology Limited. We're going to go through some of the stuff that we've been doing in Hong Kong. Just want to give you some quick background of, I guess, has anyone haven't been to Hong Kong before? Okay. Well, just some quick background. We were a British colony until 1997, so we're part of China now. But we are supposed to be totally independent from them in terms of everything. With our own law system and everything else. In Hong Kong, this is our education system. We have 3 educations for primary and secondary educations, with 6 years of primary studies, 6 years of secondary, and then 4 years of tertiary. We just currently changed it to this format as of it's starting like this year. We'll be starting 4 years university instead of 3. We used to be a so-called now it's a 3 and 4. So 3 years junior secondary, 3 years seniors, and then 4 years tertiary. It used to be 3, 4, and 3. So they switch it slightly for different reasons. But I'm not going to get into that right now. If you guys are interested in the situation, I can talk to you guys more individually. This is the number of schools that we have. We have around 1,000 primary and secondary schools, excluding we have also around 100 something kindergarten as well. The medium instruction is bilingual. Primary and secondary school, kind of they can choose the medium choose, so it would be whether in Cantonese or English. In tertiary, it will be mostly in English. Some of the characteristics of our system, we are highly competitive. So student life is actually really stressful. Just because of the whole traditions that we are really focusing on the results, the exam scores and everything. And this one very interesting thing in Hong Kong is the tutorial centers. If you guys have been to Hong Kong, you see all this ad on the bus and the TV, everywhere else. All these tutors are posting like celebrities. That's what they've been doing in Hong Kong. They give them all this tutor celebrity status so they can attract more students. So for normal students, they would go to tutorial center after school. Will be around 5 o'clock. They stay there till 7, 8, so they won't get home until 9. So that's their typical school days. And then when they go home, they have to they have a lot of things to do. They have to finish the homework. They have to play video games. They have to Facebook. So they probably won't get to bed until like 2 a.m. And then they have to go to school again at around 8. The interesting thing about pizza, I think we are on par in these 3 major subjects with Singapore. I think we're always competing with Singapore on this, and we are supposed to be really proud of this result. We're always in the top 3 countries in terms of scoring. And this is the most recent result released. And we're way ahead of all this so-called developed country like United States, Europe, UK, and all this. But the problem is we realize that our system isn't really fit for what we're looking for in the 21st century. These are all the skills that society is expecting, but our students seems not to be particularly capable in all this skills like communication, critical thinking, collaborations. So which introduced this the government introduces what I just mentioned, the education reform. So the lower side is this is what we have become, and we've added all these different measurement, assessment, and subjects, trying to make our students to be able to think independently. And we will see the result in supposed to be in 4 years' time. The students under the new reform just started their tertiary educations, so we should see the new batch of students graduating in 4 years from now, and we shall see if there's significant difference, which I hope we might or we should. And some other interesting initiative initiated by the government recently. We similar situation is in Singapore. We have our own so-called master plan in IT and education as well, because our government realized leveraging education technology or technology in education is the way to go, which can help them to learn more efficiently and more interesting, and using the way that they are comfortable with. Technology is one of the things. Some of the schemes that has been happening in Hong Kong. Just earlier this year, we started this e-textbook scheme. Government put in tons of money and trying to get people to develop e-textbook for the student to use. And earlier in last year, we had the 3 years pilot scheme on e-learning. Government put in tons of money again, $68 million on a 3 years pilot. And it started in 2001, so we'll find out the result in 2014. We did some pretty small-scale survey about how students like games. I guess this is pretty universal. We don't have to doubt whether they, how much they like games. They're pretty much all excited about it. I'm not going to go through the details of what games are good at. I believe everyone here would think that games are good for learning as well, right? But with game-based learning, there are two ways to leverage games. One is through learn through create, which is enable them to create their own games, which I'm not going to get into that today. This is what I'm going to get into, learning through playing. In Hong Kong, there's actually not so much of a game industry there. We used to have a lot of people developing mobile games and then switch to online games. But since the investment for online games development is pretty big, and we're more like a stock market, real estate driven society. So our own research development is not really big there. But then, of course, there's some hopes there too. This is one of the games that we're going to get into. This is a game based on Chinese history. It's about the Mongolian conquest, the famous Mongolian conquest. We got a funding from government to develop this into a game. The reason would be because students hate Chinese history. It's as simple as that. Everyone falls asleep. They don't know what they're doing. They don't want to remember any facts, and just they don't like the subjects at all. So we partner with this secondary schools. We purposely pick a topic that the teachers has the hardest time to teach, and the student has the hardest time to learn. And we turn it into a game. I'm just going to show you a quick gameplay demo. Sorry, all the narration is in Cantonese. So the game plays out. We try to make it more like a strategy role-play game. So your goal. Here's go the Wi-Fi. Well, the goal is to manage your troops to prepare them well enough to go into battle. But anyway, I'll try to give you a better picture of it. This is one of the scenes. This is the campsite where the players can assign the soldiers to different tasks, such as doing making weapons, feeding them, letting them rest, getting them to practice. And then eventually, when they are well prepared, then it will get into this battle mode, which is the actual battle is going to happen. We sort of try to reduce the the violence level in the battle, so we make it into more like a chess, a board game kind of battle. So it's like a turn-based thing. Your soldiers can move across the board according to what kind of weapons or what sort of things you're equipped, and you pretty much attack and try to win over the battle. We minimize all the blood. There's no blood there. And at the end, the student get to see the picture, the route that the conquest has been going through, the details, and everything in this game is we do it according to the actual history, the background, like what kind of food they should be eating in that particular area, the clothing, how they look, and everything else. So that's the core part of the game, and then you can get to this is the part that you need to do some mining in order to get the raw materials for you to make your weapons. So they have to go through all this different process and try to understand what actually happened during that time and how you would actually do that conquest if you were the soldiers. I think the Wi-Fi is not helping me much here. But you get the idea. Well, I can I can show you another demo offline if anyone's interested. This is some of the data that we collected. What the thing is, we work with the one secondary schools on this game, and it's funded by the government. And well, there goes the video. And it's not really being publicized by the government or anyone else. So we're sort of doing it on a organic way. We let people know about this game, and if they're interested, they can just go and play. And it's totally free because it's funded by the government. And we were only able to do some really preliminary studies, which Sue was talking about earlier this morning, which we didn't do it in this game. We didn't actually assess the exact learning outcome. Let me stop this thing now. Yeah, but we did just see how the student feels about this game because this is their first exposure to actually using game in the classroom. I'm not sure how schools in Singapore are. In schools in Hong Kong, they're not allowed to play any games in their computers. They're not allowed to bring their iPad or iPhone or anything else. They're not allowed to use any of those things in the classroom. So this is actually a pretty fresh sight for them. They're all excited. They were even shocked when the teachers tell them, "Well, today you guys are going to the computer labs and play games," and no one believes them until they actually see the game. And the other games that I'm going to talk about is the one of the most important subjects that students or parents or teachers care about in Hong Kong is English. Since 1997, the meaning of instructions has been mixed with a lot more Chinese. So apparently our English capability has taken a nosedive. So everyone's really worried about it. We're losing our competitors and everything else. So this is a game that we came up with. It's more like a proof of concept. We want to make a game that helps students to learn English in a slightly more interesting way. And vocabulary is the areas that we want to target. Instead of giving them flashcards and just remember all the pronunciations and definition, we come up with a game that, with the background, take place in the convenience stores. I'm not if you guys have been to Hong Kong, I'm sure you noticed there's like 5 convenience stores in a single block in Hong Kong. You see like so many of them. So this is one of the places that students actually hang out after school. They go have cup noodles, they have Slurpees and everything else. So we figured it would be a good settings for the game to take place, because they will actually get to see the store after school as well. Okay, let me try to show you the video. I hope this one works better. So you can imagine it's like a simplified version of Diner Dash. Your goal is to help the customers to find the right items. Here goes again. So the customers come in and he or she would ask you to help them find items. And so the word would pops up, and then the pronunciation will you can hear the pronunciation as well. So your goal is what you need to do is very easy. You just need to match the particular items. Oh, finally he comes in. It takes him a long time to come into the store. And so, well, he's not supposed to ask for beer. He's supposed to be a student. But anyway, so we let it slip this time. So we just click on the beer items, and then the guy will go click it up, and they'll be all happy. And you see this is angry meter, or we call it emotion meter. Okay. If he waits too long, if you don't respond to him quick enough, he'll get angry, and then you get less points for that. So this is the whole idea. But then the idea behind this particular game design is we just want to achieve that simple image and word association. That's like the key for learning any vocabulary. And of course you see all this result, how many words you get it right. But the other flaw in the design is that the customer actually don't need to pay. We got, when we let the student try it out, the student, first thing they point out is that, hey, how come they don't have to pay? They just leave the store without paying. So we'll add that in later on versions. And this is a different kind of customer, so you get different kind of customers, right? This is a cake. Oh, that lady changes his mind frequently, so he might request one thing and then change his mind for another thing. And we also got the businessman. He's really impatient, so you have to serve him in like 3 seconds. So we have all this different game. All right, I had enough of this Wi-Fi. And so we have different of this game design elements to make the game more interesting. So there's a picture of what associations that we're trying to achieve, but we actually find some really interesting findings after we let the student play. But then at the same time, as the game progresses, you see different information being shown on the game. So after certain levels, you only see the words, and then after certain level, you only hear the pronunciation. So we do a different combination of things to make sure they get to know different aspects of the vocabularies that we want them to learn. So we tried it. This one at secondary schools. We got 104 students to try it out for a month long. So they would use the game for 3 or 4 times total. We had 5 different classes try it. So the how they use it in the classroom is that they would usually play the game for 15 to 20 minutes, and then depending on the teacher's preference, they would do they could teach it words before they let them play the game, or they would just let them play a game and do a debriefing at the end. So it's up to the teachers themselves. And then we did a pretty simple pre-testable test, just similar idea, matching the words. So this is the result that we got. On average, if you average out, we got a 30% increase in their in this particular set of vocabulary retention. Interesting thing you see, in one of the classes only has 6%, and the class number 5 has 36%. And we found out later on, class 5 is supposed to be the student with the lowest English capabilities, but they actually had the biggest improvement. But then the interesting thing is that because that teachers is really, really capable, so at the end of the day, we can do everything that we want to try to help them to teach and try to help students to learn. But at the end of the day, we need a really good teachers to make it effective. So that makes a huge difference. And then all this feedback, I'm not going to get into this. I'm pretty sure they would like the games, playing the games rather than sitting down and what we're doing right now, listening to me talk. So this is pretty much all I'm going to share with you guys. This is what we have done, and we have some new projects coming on as well. We have another games based on Chinese history. But that's the hottest topics right now. Then that's the easiest to get funding. So, and if you guys have any questions or anything in the future, you can contact me through this means. And I'm not if you have any question about what I've just mentioned, if you want me to get into any of the details, please let me know as well. Okay, thank you.
Does anybody have any questions for Frankie at this moment? No? Yes?
For the first one, the Mongolian conquest, we took like 6 months, but we got this much funding. We had like 4 people working on it full time, so two programmers, 2 graphics people, and plus we had a game designer working on it on and off too. And the other one's really quick. The other one's more like a prototype. We're going to develop into a full-scale game right now, and that one took us about a month, but it took us another month to get all the details confirmed with the schools, which take a while. We actually go back and forth for a couple of designs before we decide on this one. Oh, actually, that's one thing I want to mention, that about the convenience store games. It's a very interesting thing that I forgot about this. When we talk to the student afterwards, they're really excited to tell us about this thing. Is that when they go to convenience store now, they actually remember all those items that they're playing the game, and they can proudly say that in English, even though that guy doesn't know English. In the store, but they can identify all those different objects, and they can remember how it is. How to pronounce it. And the interesting fact from that we were told by the teachers is that even though our game didn't really train them for the spelling, because they have seen enough of the words, they actually get the spelling slightly more accurate. They would get if it's a H, they will get something similar instead of giving that an O. That sort of thing. So it's an interesting thing that we have seen, and